Good evening, everybody. Today is October 3rd. I believe we're in October already. This is the Hannah City Village Council meeting. I would ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. First item tonight would be open a public hearing on proposed annexations. I will entertain a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Weaver. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Good.
Opposed, nay. Ryan, you cannot vote, sir.
Too bad.
Abby, do we need roll call on that, or are we okay with ayes and nays?
For the public hearing itself, you should be fine with just the regular, yay, nay thing.
Talk to it. Go ahead.
Okay, so guys, the people on the phone, I'm sorry you're not going to be able to see this. I'm getting up and walking over to a map. This map here on the wall is, I'll describe it to you. So this is the core village of Hannah City. Everything that is in light blue is a property that has already been annexed in. Everything that is shaded in this pink color is a pre-annexed property. The purple line that goes all the way around is a rough view of what the 1.5 mile radius is from a fully annexed property. So from a blue property, okay? The reason that's important is anything within that 1.5 mile radius we can pre-annex, and Peoria County is out. There's nothing that they can do about it. If we pre-annex something outside of that 1.5, then they can vote to retain it and retain that within the Peoria County rather than within the village. It's unlikely that that would happen. It hasn't happened to us and to lots of other people before, but it is possible that that could happen. Okay. The reason I'm telling you all this is the Hermans, who own the frontage property down here on 116 and Hannah City Glassford, have the fishery that's currently over on Taylor Road. They originally had planned to move the fishery to the frontage property, but it's gotten so big that they now want to move it to a property that they have just off the map, right up here, out in the country. And they're still planning on having the retail space in the frontage property where 116 and Hannah City Glassford is, so that's a good thing. But they want the fishery to be here in close proximity to where they'll be selling the fish and chemicals and all the things that they do for ponds. Okay, so what we're looking at tonight is a pre-annexation agreement for this property. Before we kind of reevaluated, Caleb and I and others, about a year and a half ago, we were kind of pre-annexing anybody that was interested. The problem with that is we take on the cost of managing their code, but we don't have line of sight necessarily to ever getting property tax for some of those properties because, it's going to be hard to connect the dots to get them connected to a blue property to where they're fully annexed. So we changed our criteria from, is it valuable to the village, and or do we have line of sight to eventually getting them fully annexed? So for this property, there is value, right, because the fishery will be there, and we know we're going to get the other part of the business in town. And so the green locations are people that I have that want to be pre-annexed in. These two are Hermans, and then this is another person that's wanting to build a home. And the pink are how we would need to connect the dots to get to here. So one, I'm not counting that one because that doesn't necessarily have to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4 properties, 5 properties would get us fully annexed and take the Hermans out of Peoria County ever wanting to bring them back in. Would also get us the neighborhood just down the road on the way to Tribola, the Wayside Lane down Old Country. Yeah, that neighborhood would come in. because we'd have blue all the way then running up. So we have line of sight to getting there. The good news is the Hermans have talked to some of these people about annexing, and I think they've got support to do some of that. However, there's going to be a couple that we're going to have some conversations with and explain to them what we need to do in order to bring them in.
And the first pink square there, yeah, is the one we've been trying to get for
These two
6
right
years. That opens up all the Copple Farm and then all the subdivision back there, which we've had that pre-annexed forever, and we just have not been able to get either corner of the road there to ever kind of sit down and go. So that one immediately makes everything blue to the northwest of it, and then everything up there that we're talking about is within the mile and a half
We'd be blue-
anyway.
If we get that one, we're blue to here.
And then everything
And
is in the
these
mile and a
are
half.
the ones that Hermans have talked to, and so we
Yeah.
can come all the way up to here.
Well, that would increase our limit because that would
Yeah.
move our boundary another mile and a half out from that blue property.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, that's right.
Basically, the county
yeah,
could
if
never.
we get them to here, you're right. You'd be probably within the mile and a half.
Yeah, if you get the one corner, then everything falls in the mile and a half. The county would, and they've never challenged anybody anyway. So
But if we can fully annex them and pick up the property tax, that's a good thing too.
yeah.
Tonight, all we're voting on is this one property, the pre-annexation of this, so that they can get started on the fishery. That's what we're talking about tonight. But I wanted to give you the full context so you got an understanding of what we're working on. Pull this together. Abby and I are going through all of the individual PIN numbers and trying to figure out what is fully annexed and pre-annexed, make sure we got all that right, and who are the PIN numbers that we need to talk to. What's the cleanest path to getting everybody to blue? All right.
Thank you, Brian.
Sure.
Yes,
You're within a mile and a half.
that's how you're on the board.
You're already in village limits.
Are you talking about your other building, your barn?
No,
It's not.
he's like, am I in?
It's not blue though, is it?
Oh, I think you might have been
Was it,
Blue stuff we've
Blue's
annexed.
fully annexed.
yeah.
Not counting the limits, the village limits already.
But we may have done that map before you got fully annexed, because you might have been in process when we were doing that. I mean, it's a moving target. Every month something can change.
So everybody should have a copy of the pre-annexation agreement in front of them.
We have votes later in the meeting. Nothing you need to vote on now. This is just a public hearing to discuss
So are
it.
we
You have to vote to
discussing
close.
both the pre-annexation and the ag zoning? Or is this?
Yeah, the next one is related to it, and there's another document in there. Last night, the planning commission met, and they decided that they would zone that property ag. So they're making the recommendation both to pre-annex the property and to have the zoning ag. But we have to have a public hearing. on
That's what I was
each of those.
asking is do we need to do, okay, so we need to do this and then close it. Just so I know what I got.
Yep.
Was everybody clear on what we're talking about? What we'll be bringing up in the regular meeting. Need to move. Any further comments? Question? If not, I will entertain a motion to go ahead and close the public hearing.
So move.
Motion by Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Sidak. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We are out of public hearing and in regular session. Abby, do I need to call a roll call for regular session?
You just
I don't
need to get the next public hearing, right?
Yeah, I just start the next public hearing.
So you gotta follow that same process for 3 and 4.
Why didn't we just do it on the same public hearing?
You can't. You have to do it for each one individually. I asked.
That's what I was.
Government work, baby.
That's why I was like,
Sorry.
as long as we know what we have to do.
Abby makes the rules. I just follow them.
I will entertain a motion to go into a public hearing for the designation pen Cottonwood Road for ag zoning.
So move. Second.
Motion by Weaver, second by Johnson. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We're in a public hearing.
So I think the reason why is, Abby, that because if somebody doesn't want it to be pre-annexed, then they can talk about that during that public hearing. If they don't want it to be zoned ag, they can talk about that during that public hearing. That's why we have to do them independently. So in this, we have the sheet where this is from the Planning Commission last night, where they voted to recommend that we pre-annex and that we also zone it ag. It's ag all around. It's Peoria County ag. It would be our ag. Even though the fishery would be there, it's still an ag business. So even though it's not necessarily farming, it's still an
I think
agriculture.
to further reinforce it being ag, it's going to be, animal rearing.
Yeah.
So
So
residential, if they put a house.
I think that makes sense.
It'd still be ag out there with the house on it.
Motion to return to regular meeting.
So moved. Or second, I mean.
Motion by Weaver, second by Johnson. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And the next one, more.
Motion to end the public hearing for proposed ordinance to adopt zoning regulations for solar energy.
Second.
Motion by Weaver, second by Johnson. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We're in a public hearing again.
Okay, so also on your packet, you see the zoning amendment sought. This was a recommendation by the Planning Commission last night. Later in your packet is the actual full ordinance. Basically, all we're saying is that we're amending our current zoning within town to add criteria for solar, whether it be solar on a house or whether it be a solar farm or whatever. But we've taken information from, Abby's taken information from other communities and worked with Caleb and I, and we drafted an ordinance on solar zoning that we would add to the zoning portion of our code book. That's what we're doing. And you have the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission to do that.
Any further discussion? I'll entertain a motion. We close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Sidak, second by Weaver. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are back in a regular session.
YMCA will not be here.
Yeah, the Community Wellness Center, YMCA from Elmwood, they were supposed to come. Brian got a late call. They will not be making it. So next guest is Monica Neff.
Thanks for having me. So I'm here tonight just to speak about the CO2 pipelines that Wolf is proposing to bring in through our community. I do appreciate your response that you gave me, Brian. That is a good response that you have to the ICC Commission. However, that's not going to stop them from putting in this pipeline. So the best way to try to fight against this is to actually intervene against it. That way our voice is heard as a community, and we do have the opportunity to actually fight this coming in. So I'm an impacted property owner, so I've gotten the certified letters such as Sheila has about our properties being directly impacted. I didn't know where to go, what to do, so I've been searching out groups on Facebook. And luckily we do have groups out there that will help impacted communities fight these pipelines, or at least try to. The group that I've found is willing to come into Hannah City and talk to our residents. We intend to have a meeting at Hannah City Sportsman's Club on Tuesday, October 24th at 6 p.m. We'll have about 4 to 5 speakers, a farmer who has been working with this, trying to prevent the pipelines from coming through with the Navigator for at least a year now. We have other coalition representatives that are very informed on this topic. And then we have some local residents, but we're asking somebody from the village board to come and speak on the village's behalf to let community members know what we're planning on doing as a village.
What's the time again? I'm sorry.
It's at 6 p.m. on October 24th. So that's one request. What they'll be doing is providing information, handouts, letting citizens know what they can do to be involved. So the pipeline's not only dangerous because they can actually take eminent domain over our properties. That's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is that if a rupture does happen, our entire community is gone. A rupture can go up to 40 feet in the air and spread very wide and rapid, about 1.8 miles in each direction. It asphyxiates because CO2 is heavier than oxygen, so it's probably about 5 minutes that it would take to asphyxiate whoever is in the 1.8 surrounding vicinity. So really the only way that you can get out of Dodge is to have an electric vehicle if you're lucky enough to make it there. So, so with that, they'll also have county moratorium positions for Peoria County, asking that Peoria County put in a moratorium until there's better safety regulations in the event that this is passed. Because right now at the federal government, there's no safety regulations in place to protect impacted community members. So we're asking for community members to sign those. I've been going around canvassing the community, and community members don't know what to do. They received the letter too, and we've got farmers that say, you know, I oppose it, but there's nothing that I can do. It's a big corporation coming in. So it would be good to spread that word, what the community is planning to do for them. Also, as you addressed, Brian, you did gather input of community members. I didn't get requested for input, neither did Sheila. So what community members did you?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it was people like you who just reached out to us and said, hey, we've got concerns. Would be willing to sit down and talk with us. And so we've done that. And then we've had 2 board meetings and 1 planning meeting where the meetings are public, where we've offered it for people to come and share things. And we've had some people that did that as well.
It's sometimes difficult to know what you have on your planning unless you're seeking it out, what you're planning to speak about. So being more visible with something that impacts the community so widely, such as this, would be something to consider for the future.
Sure.
So that everybody knows that they can get involved. So with that request of maybe instead of just proposing your opposition to the ICC, maybe actually intervening on behalf, that's one request coming to the meeting that we have on the 24th. Also, because we do require permits for solicitations coming in through Hannah City, if it does indeed pass, I would request that we heavily stick to that and require WOOF to have those permits before they come soliciting landowners and taking easement rights to their properties. And then the other thing is to have Hannah City Village be an advocate for our community members on this. And then also, the annexation is a great thing for us because we can actually, as a community, set property setback lines that makes it more difficult for this pipeline to come in through our properties. So I do have a neighbor that lives behind me, and she's done a lot of research, and it is intended to cross actually on residential property lines. So it would be something good if we could impose setback restrictions to residential properties. And that's about all that I have.
Good. Appreciate you coming.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much for coming. We do appreciate it. And we have, the board, Brian and myself, we've been talking about this for a while now. So it is something that the board is definitely opposed to, not only as a board, but for our residents. You know, there are things that we would like to see done that we're working with our village attorney to try to see what we can do. As far as costs and things like that. And then we also have been working on a letter to get out to the residents so everybody is informed.
Yeah, and we're just a little bit behind, I guess, behind you to some degree, because in that letter we say, come to us if you have concerns or whatever you can. So that was kind of our
Well, it was
invitation.
September 5th that I had, that
That was our original meeting.
I mean,
So
and we I thought we were gonna post something online. I think Abby.
Yeah, Abby's
Gonna
got,
make
we're gonna
a
talk about
letter.
those tonight.
Okay.
You know, I could easily put my house up for sale and move out, but I'm interested in protecting our community. So.
Yeah, absolutely, as we are.
Yeah, I'm like, we're trying to figure out our legal avenues as well as how to get the community involved. So, knowing that they can show up to this meeting, definitely we'll get that on our village page.
Yeah, more canvassers. Yeah.
She came to us.
Yeah.
She came to my door like Sunday, and I was so thankful. It's easy to bury head in sand, but when I heard it, I was really concerned. But then, of course, people that do their due diligence and do the research, and when you look at it, I'm just thankful. I said, "Sign me up. This is our beloved little community, and we don't want this."
Yeah, so there will be every door direct mailers going out that this organization is going to go ahead and pay for it. But if we're able to share as a village on Facebook, whatever, that this meeting is going to happen, that'd be great.
And we are having trouble getting the community involved. I mean, they don't read the stuff. We ask them to come to our website, and we're even updating the website, trying to get that on.
We're actually in the process.
Yeah.
In the next 2 months, we'll have an app that people can put on their phone, which we can
Nice.
push notifications directly to. And so the biggest issue there is if we can get everybody signed up, then we'll have direct contact with people, and it'll really dramatically improve our ability to communicate. So.
And I know we're all worried about the community, and a lot of people don't take that into account because 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago, when I was elected, I had to appoint people to run or appoint people on the board because we didn't have enough people who wanted to get involved with the community. So, it's tough to force people to do it. Danny Pearson, who's online, he's actually my neighbor. He lives across the street, and we started talking, and he's like, "Well, you guys have meetings?" I said, "Yeah, they're online." So, it'd be nice to see 10 or 12 people pop in, or have 10 or 12 people in here. It's just the community doesn't want to get involved a lot of times.
I'm a culprit myself. Like I was telling Brian, this is the second board meeting that I've been to, and it's because it directly impacts me. But I definitely understand people aren't.
I'm guilty of it.
I think it's also important to note that in a town of 1,200 people, there's differing opinions, right? And I would say I've not spoken to anybody that's jumping up and down saying, yes, I want the pipeline to come through here. But I have spoken to several residents who are indifferent. They don't see it any different than the natural gas pipeline that went through. I think they've educated themselves to some degree, but their opinion is they'd rather see tax dollars spent on other things rather than this. And again, that doesn't make them right, but it also doesn't mean their opinion is less valid than anybody else's. So one of the challenges we have is listening to everybody and understanding what the majority is thinking, and trying to balance the best path forward for the community as a whole.
Would you be willing to let me know if you'd be interested in attending the event and speaking on behalf of the village?
Yeah, I made a note that somebody will be there.
Okay.
I don't know that it'll be me, but somebody will make arrangements for somebody to come and be present at that.
Great.
Meeting. So probably be Tony Rye or both, I
Okay.
guess.
Hopefully it's not on a night I have school, so check my schedule. So
But I'll be knocking on doors still. I'm not gonna let up.
Yeah, no, that's good, and that's what you should do. You feel strongly about it, and that's what we wish every community member would do about lots of things: is get actively involved. So we appreciate it.
Thanks for hearing.
Yes, thank you both for coming this evening and talking to us. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
That's Ryan. He's a board member that's traveling with work, and so he's online.
Sheila, did you have anything else?
Yep.
Okay.
She just came Sunday, and she gave great information. I volunteered to go out on campus and whatever else I can do.
Well, we greatly appreciate it. So, Jason, I think you're next.
You want me to
We can just go over it right now, and then we've got it in the deck to vote later. So
Okay. Start from scratch. Pretend like this is the first time.
sure.
All right. So we're looking at a community solar project on Gary Dooley's property there to the west of town, off of Hannah Glasser Blacktop. I updated the site plan and added some of the stuff that was asked for in the building permit application, a little bit more extensive detail related to dimensions and things of that nature. But it'll be set back 1,000 feet, roughly 1,500 feet off of 116, and about 500 feet with a row of trees to protect the residents to the east there. The concept of a community solar project would be that we would build a solar project that would benefit the community in the sense that, well, number one, there would be a land lease in place with Mr. Dooley. There would be, and the power would go directly into the grid with an opportunity for the village and village operations and different entities within the village of Hannah City to be able to subscribe to this power. And for them, it means a reduction in their energy costs. In other words, we would sell the power to those folks who are subscribers at a reduced rate over their current energy costs with Ameren. And that would be we would typically have a standard reduction. So in other words, if the rates fluctuate and we offer a subscriber a 20% discount, then if the rates go down, they still get 20%. If the rates go up, they still get 20%. So it would kind of operate in that manner. We've done it a couple of different ways in the past. I think that might be the best, but I suppose we'd be open to suggestions from the village as well. If we've got a project in Deer Creek that is similar, and we set a flat rate. That flat rate for the customers have been as high as, actually it's been as high as a 40% discount. But right now it's actually about a 15% discount. So it fluctuates. So there's a couple different ways we can do it, and like I said, we'd certainly be open to suggestions if people had opinions there. The other thing, obviously, would be tax revenue to the city, and the village would stand to receive. We had math in a previous packet that we determined that the number is going to be roughly $36,000 a year in tax revenue for the village of Hannah City. Like I said, the power would go directly into the grid. I think that's generally it for the most part.
So I'll tell you what we've done since you were here last. We've written an ordinance for solar zoning and with parameters and everything, so that we would have that in place prior to the work. Yep. And then you've also turned in the building permit, so we want to take a look at that, and hopefully both those things will get approved, and then at least you can go to the next step. Yep. And then there may be some more contingencies. I'll let Caleb talk later when we get into that about some more details we might want before we actually get into construction.
Yep.
That's where we are.
Sounds good.
Okay.
You got any questions? Any other questions of me?
No.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Danny, do you have anything this evening, or are you just here to observe?
No, sir. Just here to observe.
Thank you.
Danny, thanks for coming every week.
Not a problem.
Except for when he's working.
Yeah, that's right.
Railroad doesn't stop for board meetings.
Treasury report?
Nope.
Minutes.
Oh.
Did you have things?
Oh. Yeah. You guys don't need to stay if you don't want to, but if you want to hang around for the whole board meeting, you are more than welcome to.
Or if you want to stay for portions, you're welcome to stay for whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So everybody should have a copy of the September 19th meeting minutes.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as submitted.
Second. I have a motion by Johnson, second by Sidak. Any further discussion, corrections, or changes need to be made? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed by nay. Motion carried. Mr. Watt, do you have anything under?
Nope.
I know, I'm just getting ahead, I'm just making sure. So, Treasury report, Ms. Cassandra.
Only thing of note is that the interest in the Renaissance account this month was $4,700.
Still good. I mean, we took, 78,000 out of there for the sewer lining project. So
Yeah.
we took the account down and it still did almost $5,000.
Any questions on the treasurer's report for me?
Questions? I'll entertain a motion. We approve the treasurer's report and pay all outstanding bills.
So moved.
Motion by Sidak,
Second.
second by Johnson. Any further discussion? We'll roll call it. Weaver?
Yes.
Miller?
Yep.
Chair, or Sidak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yep.
Motion carried. Miss Abby, brings us to you.
I do have one specific note about the CO2 pipeline. I looked at the ICC's website. It looks like Peoria County has filed a petition to intervene as of, I think, September 27th. So there hasn't been a hearing on that yet. The administrative judge is going to have to approve that motion to intervene. Once that happens, I'll let you know, at the next meeting or whenever. But just so everyone's aware, Peoria County has done that. And other than that, you should have just those two different communications that I drafted and Brian, helped me with. So if you have any questions about those or want any changes to those, let me know.
What was the error that you saw, Zach?
Oh.
Which letter?
The first one to
Oh, Village,
Commerce.
yeah. The president and board of trustees of the Village of Hannah City, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
There's no city.
Yeah, that was, I cut and pasted that, so that's probably why I cut that out. So there's one letter that would be sent directly to ICC, the Illinois Commerce Commission, with the mayor's signature, and there's another letter that we distribute to residents in probably many different forms. And then basically the one to the residents informs them of the work that's been done to this point, kind of where we're at, and ways that they can voice their opinions on the ICC website as well.
Do you think we need to add that they're having a meeting or let them deal with that?
I've got a note here for us to have Tracy communicate that through our stuff. So
Okay.
yeah.
What did you-
Huh?
I need to vote on it.
I just put it on there just in case. We don't necessarily need to vote.
We should need to vote on communications.
I just always put vote now because if I don't, I know we can't vote. So
You shouldn't have to, but if you wanted to, you can. It won't hurt anything. But no, you don't need to.
I need a verbal authorization.
Yes.
everybody's okay with Tony signing those and us sending those out, right?
Administrative report, Mr. Bailey.
I think it's the last one in your deck. I'm sorry, I forgot printed it out of order. There's a ton going on, obviously, just in what we're talking about in the meeting, but there's a few things that I wanted to update you on. Tracy's continuing to work with Aptigee. I think we're getting close to where we'll publish the new website, and then we're going to pilot the app with members of the board, the planning commission, and the CEDC. So you guys can get it, and then you'll get the automatic push notifications, and you can give us any feedback. We'll probably do that for a few weeks, and then roll the app out to the entire community. Hopefully we can get lots of people signed up. But the app's going to do cool things. It'll remind you tomorrow is garbage pickup day, and yes, it's recycling, or no, it's not recycling. It'll tell you, all kinds of calendar things will automatically get pushed out when the board meetings are, the minutes, the agendas, those types of things will all get pushed directly out to residents. And so it's pretty simple when you sign up for the app. It just asks, do you want push notifications, and you just hit yes, and it sends everything directly to you. So hopefully it'll also allow us to get people to sign up for electronic billing, so they receive their invoices electronically. They can pay online rather than come in. A lot of people don't know that stuff's available, so hopefully our communications will improve greatly. Abby and I have been working with Azavar. If you remember, Azavar was the one that was going to do the audits of all of our past history of and make sure that the village has received all of the tax income and other things that we needed to receive over time. To be honest with you, we've had a struggle. They ask us for information, we provide it, and I ask for an update on what's happening, and then it feels to me like they haven't made much ground, and so then I ask for a monthly update, and then they miss those, and they ask for more information, and then we provide it. So the contract we had with them said 30 days, and we can break the contract. So I had Abby send a note to them saying, hey, in 30 days, if we haven't seen some sort of value add from this process, given all the information that we provided you, we're probably going to terminate that contract, because it's just not worth Cassandra's time or my time to chase that stuff down if we're not going to see any benefit from it. That 30 days is up on October 8th, so we'll be making the decision then. Hera is the property registration company that we switched to from ProChamps. They are now doing registrations for us, and so that process is working, up and working again, and that income's coming back in. The problem is they have a portal for users like us to use, and that part of the process is not done yet. So we're waiting on that, so we can't look and see which properties and how much we received and look at all the information that we could before, but they're working on that. We got a request from Heritage Senior Homes to make some sidewalk repairs. You know where Heritage Senior Homes is, down off Murphy Road. It's a chunk of money. It's $45,000. So I've asked for some additional information as to. It's basically because they have a HUD loan, and HUD did the inspection. But my questions are, if the HUD inspection that they sent me says the site needs improvement. Well, if the sidewalks are public, is that included in the site or not? And it was a part of the loan. I can't imagine that the public sidewalks would have been part of the loan. So if it's not included in the site, then why would we need to, not that we don't want to improve them, but why would we need to in order for them to keep their HUD loan? So I just think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered yet. I'm not saying we don't want to help them. I think we do ultimately want to help and make that better, but we're walking through the process now. Fred is on their board, Fred Winteroff, and so he's in Europe for 3 weeks. So my guess is once he gets back, probably talk and we'll work through that. I'm not sure why, but Cassandra and I have taken on the code review. We probably have over 500 pages of village code, a lot that we adopted from Peoria County, and we've laid stuff over and so forth. And we are going to go through it line by line. Actually, we've started, and it's going to take us a long time to get through it. But we're going to go through the whole thing, and then we'll bring back, work with Abby, and then we're going to bring back a recommendation to kind of upgrade all of our code, simplify it, make it easier to understand, and make sure that what we do have in there we're enforcing, that there's not duplications. And it's a big project, and we meet every other Thursday right now, but it's a big project. Last thing is for staff, we're doing mid-year reviews, and that staff is putting their information together now, and I'm going to meet with them next week to kind of go over those. So I just wanted to make sure even though we've had a lot at the meetings, there's still a lot going on either side. That's it. Sheesh. Nothing to share about.
Committee reports, planning and zoning. Mr. Johnson.
First item is the approval of ordinance authorizing the entry into an annexation agreement for pen 1229 for 100,022, commonly known as 15722 West Cottonwood Road, Elmwood, Illinois 61529. Make a motion we approve the ordinance authorizing the entry into an annexation agreement with that property.
Second.
I do have one quick comment about the pre-annexation agreement. So it lists two different pins. So before you sign the agreement, I'm going to have you mark out the second pin that we're not voting on and then initial next to your edit and then sign it.
And the reason for that is originally they were only going to do the one, and so that's what we published in the paper, and then they came in and they said they wanted the other, and we couldn't get the other one published in the paper in time. So we're going to have to circle back and do that.
And that's when you've already crossed off.
Where?
And that's the one you've already crossed off?
Yes.
Yeah, so I initialed by Abby.
But you need to do it on the ordinance.
Right.
I don't see two different ones.
I don't think the ordinance has the second one listed.
The paperwork they have in their hands, I marked it off the pre-annexation agreement.
Okay, cool. Yep.
And then when we do the next one, I'll mark the other one off.
Okay, who seconded that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so you're
that
right.
was
You
a-
do it on that one, and then you sign the pre-annexation agreement and put that with the ordinance.
Right.
Correct. Sorry.
This will be ordinance number 231001. Everybody knows what we're voting on? So, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? And we'll roll call it. Miller?
Yep.
Sidak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Once you guys get all that signed, I'll need a copy that I can send to the person, copy that I can put into the file, and then you can have the original. I think we'll have Cassandra file with the. We need to file that with the clerk.
Yeah, so we'll like file a memorandum with the agreement and yeah, that's what we'll do.
So what do we do with the original?
I would just keep the original.
Okay, so give me the original, and I'll make copies and send one to you, Abby, and one to the applicant. And we'll.
Yeah, that works.
I normally send every ordinance to Abby and Brooke.
Okay, well you can do that.
Okay.
That's fine. I'll put. We keep the annexation files here. I actually have it back here. Had them Tracy make them up. I'll put the original.
But I need one for the ordinance file, and you need one for the annexation file.
Okay.
Because Abby, you guys record the memorandum.
Yeah, we can. I'll have to like draft a real quick memorandum, which we have already in our
Yep.
system, but yes.
We got caught up. We missed like 20 of them, so we got
Yeah.
caught up one time. So there's
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, just give me the signed copy.
Do anything with the clerk. We just have to take care of our end.
Yes.
All right, and Denise will get that to Abby.
And I'll get you a copy.
I need you.
I thought the annexation agreements got
I'll
filed.
get you a digital and I'll get you.
They do, but I think that's what she's doing.
No, she's talking about recording the memorandum with the recorder.
Are you going to also file it with the county clerk?
I thought annexation agreements got filed at the clerk's office, and then you record the recorder.
So this is okay. It's going to be kind of a lengthy explanation, maybe. So this is a pre-annexation agreement. It's not required to be recorded technically, but we do it so that the county knows what's going on, if that makes sense. It's in your best interest to record it.
Filing with the clerk or recording at the recorder's office, because there's what's always happened before is we were filing with the county clerk the pre-annexation agreements, but we weren't recording the memorandum. So people were buying properties, had no idea the property was under a pre-annexation agreement, and then being surprised to learn when the county turned them away for permits that they were, because we didn't have anything that would show up on their title commitments when they bought property.
Yeah, I think it'll be both, because like you said, it does cause issues. We actually ran into one of those issues previously, so.
Yeah, we've had a couple of those. Yeah, where they had no idea they were. The seller didn't tell them it already changed hands a couple times, and they didn't.
Yeah. Yep. Just just give me the information. I'll, tell you exactly, what I need to do and get it done. So
Denise is gonna send you a copy. You're gonna record it and file it.
No, she'll record a memorandum. She won't record the actual annexation agreement.
So we need to record the annexation.
No, she's going to record a memorandum of annexation, just saying
Okay.
there's an agreement. Well, that's
We're gonna file.
different, so it's important to get it right.
So do we need to have Brian file it at the courthouse?
okay, how about you just get me the information and I will take care of it.
Yeah, no,
That work?
both places are at the courthouse, and both are separate things.
Okay, I said file.
Yeah, and
And
there's two places.
record are two different things.
All you gotta do is you gotta get it to Abby and me,
Yeah.
and we'll take care of our parts.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I just don't know who was doing it previously. I think
That was
you
me.
were taking it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
if Abby's gonna do it, that's great.
So next item on the agenda is the approval of ordinance.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance for ag zoning for the property just previously discussed.
Motion by Johnson, second by Weaver. Any further discussion, comments? This will be ordinance 2310-02. And we will roll call that. Sidak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Weaver? Yes. Miller? Motion carries.
Did you get a
I
packet?
know I don't get to vote, but could we review one more time who records it?
Shut up, Brian.
I will hunt you down.
The ordinance we're gonna vote on parameters is in that packet, so you might want to look at that when we get to that portion.
Right now.
You can take the whole thing. Yep.
And
Just go to it's toward the end. Be like the second or third to last document.
What's that? The last item is the ordinance. Yeah, it's behind all the stuff for the pre-annexation.
Approving the recommendation of the village.
Yeah,
Amending Title XE.
I'm guessing we have non-residential. Everything's in there. So I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance. The planning commission's finding the fact recommendations to adopt the zoning ordinance for solar energy installations.
And that's what
Yes, that goes with that.
I have a motion by Johnson, second by Weaver, and everybody knows what we're voting on. This will be ordinance 23-10-03. We'll roll call it. Johnson,
Yes.
Weaver, Miller,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
motion carries.
So we need to send that one to American Legal, correct?
Yes. And the section that I have listed at the top should be able to fit right in there. So it should be pretty easy.
We do that, right?
I'm just saying
Abby, you don't do that.
Yeah. No, you can go ahead and do it. Yeah.
Sandra gets that one and she handles that.
There's no signature for this one.
There's no signature page? Is there?
Well, I got this one in a second.
There should be one at the end of the
end.
ordinance itself, but not the exhibit.
It's not on the exhibit, it's the second page.
I thought it was at the end of the exhibit. So. Okay, thank you.
I do. Yep. There's also the permit, Caleb, that's under yours.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. So we got a permit for the actual solar farm.
Yeah, the approval of Gary Dooley's building permit application to protect the solar energy facility. So,
This needs to go.
yeah, obviously gonna have to match all the setbacks on it.
So those parameters, that's why I wanted you to look at that, because those parameters will be what
Yeah.
governs this permit application.
And so I'd say, I mean, obviously, I mean, unless there's something else coming along more detailed, like an actual site plan or something, but I'd say you have to have all that marked in the field. I mean, somebody from the village will show up and say, yeah, you're following the setbacks. So it'll be on you guys to make sure the setbacks are marked, like property lines are marked, and then the setbacks marked. That way we can visually see that they're being followed. So
Yeah.
Did you have any concerns with that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, 75 feet, we're plenty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's from a setback perspective, and then.
Yeah, in some instances it won't even be. I mean, some of these lines you probably won't need to have marked just because you're so far away, it'll be obvious. But
yeah,
anywhere close, then you just have to have somebody come out and mark them. I mean, are these? Because I've done some work on some of these before. I mean, they usually come out. I mean, you're subbing out some company that comes in and installs these. They're putting some fence up. They're putting in, you know.
Yeah. We're not the installation.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So,
and then somebody else is coming in. They're putting together a full set of plans for you. And
correct.
yep. And then sending them out for bids and
correct.
having something. Okay.
So when it comes to electrical engineering and all that stuff, so we would sub all that stuff out. But we would put guidance based on the site plan that we created.
I guess the question I have is what we're doing now is giving you permission to move forward with the project. When you get to the place where you're going to build, would we want another permit? Because we don't even have a fee schedule and all that at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's typically how it would work. Like the phase that we're at now, we're just trying to get basically zoning approval or non-ministerial permit approval.
That's what we're granting.
And then once we get ready to build, you're right, we would have a full permit plan set. We would apply for a building permit, electrical permit if it's necessary.
Yeah.
And then we would go to construction. Right now, we're just saying.
That's what I was kind of. They're not even really going to get a building permit right now. That's why I haven't called it. That's more just. I mean, conceptually, yeah, it's approved and ready to move forward. Then when they put together the full set of plans, then we'd issue a building permit.
So maybe we don't vote on a building
permit. No, exactly.
Maybe we vote on ministerial approval. Or
yeah, exactly. That's kind of what was giving me a little hesitation because there's not anything to really vote on from a building permit thing. It's a conceptual, you know.
Yeah, because you don't have any actual guidelines and a set of plans.
Because he's not going to sink the money into a set of plans if he doesn't know if he's going to be, the concept's not approved. So,
Abby, can we just vote on giving them ministerial approval to move forward with the project, ministerial zoning approval? And then knowing that we'll get a full building permit later?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, it's basically what's written down there, just even less. We're voting a lot less instead of more than what's down there, so.
Yeah, it's just a modification of this. So I think it's fine to vote on that.
Yeah, I mean, basically we're approving it pending seeing the full set of plans, even you could say that, so.
You're making the motion?
Yeah.
But it's not really, we're not even authorizing the permit right now, we're just authorizing them to.
Yeah. What do you call it, ministerial zoning approval?
Non-ministerial.
Non-ministerial zoning.
Yeah. Non-ministerial zoning approval, yeah, that would make sense.
Make a motion that we grant non-ministerial. What he said exactly.
Zoning approval.
Zoning approval. There we go. I'm just down here. Okay. Zoning approval for the project.
Second.
And a motion by Johnson. I do have to note that I need to make a note that Trustee Charavalli did show up and is present. Before we go on.
Just stand up to the pledge, you can vote.
Motion by Johnson, second by Sidak. Any further discussion? Everybody knows what we're voting on. We're just giving him permission to go ahead and get going. And I'll roll call that. Weaver?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Charavalli?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
And Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who seconded that?
Sidak.
Oh, I didn't write it.
Your son?
The wretched troublemaker.
I know.
The one who shares your last name.
So will there be a document or a letter of some sort from the village that documents that?
Is minutes enough, or do you need a letter?
What's that?
Is minutes good enough, or do you need a letter?
He went the letter.
I don't know that I know the answer.
We can do a memorandum
Okay.
and then I can sign it.
Okay.
We can.
That would be ample, yeah.
Get on that, Cassandra.
pretty much what he's saying, right?
So I was looking at her.
Because you know, I can't even format the letter.
I do know that much.
I'll take care of that.
Okay.
You'll have it in about 3 months.
Or 4. So sanitary sewer, you have any, did you get this?
Ryan's on.
He can't.
He can't
talk.
vote, but he can talk.
Okay. So
I don't have anything for sanitary sewer.
okay. Water.
I don't have anything for water. I don't know if there's any numbers there.
No.
Okay, Brian, I don't know if you have any other notes to add for water.
I don't.
All right, that is the quietest water that we've had. End
Building,
of report.
thank you. Building ground, Mr. Weaver.
Yeah, nothing to report,
Streets and alleys, Mr. Weaver.
nothing to report.
CEDC, Mr. Sidak.
All right, I have what I believe to be our final reimbursement from the redevelopment program this year. This is project 23R2. They made some improvements to their windows situation. And the final cost for us came out to $3,432. I will make a motion that we approve the reimbursement for project 23R2 for the cost of $3,432.
Motion by Sidak, second by Weaver. Any further discussion?
So what did she do?
She had her windows replaced.
Oh, she's got
It's right on the front.
2 checks in here, 1,500 and a 30. I was gonna say, so reimbursement's more than what you paid. That's a good deal. Okay, never mind.
That's nice.
Doors put wool over your eyes there.
So we'll roll call that. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Torelli?
Yes.
Mr. Sidak?
Yes.
Mr. Johnston?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Then CDC's still shooting for that October 30th meeting. End of report.
If people ask you, the applications for next year's program will come out in January, most likely.
I've already made a couple calls.
So administration.
Thank you.
Administration, Mr. Miller?
Who got arrested?
We don't need names.
There's 7 calls from September 10th to September 16th. A motorist assist, reckless drivers, serving papers, business house check, serving papers, stroke, and a medical alarm. There seems to be a common address that comes up on these. I won't mention them. I believe it's refuel.
Oh, yes, I've
It's
seen.
always,
I've seen.
Yeah,
every time.
there was a call that came out of an unconscious person several times.
Said I was sorry.
That's all I have. I do have a question though. I used to get these, like this, the September 16th is the most current one I have. I used to get these like right before the meeting. I'll get an update tomorrow. Is there a way to?
I'll check.
Who
with
sent
them
to you?
Peoria County.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll check with
Probably
Peoria County.
some
They
odd
probably got.
reason.
What happened if someone probably changed roles? And
The
someone
last
else is doing
meeting,
that?
I got it on Wednesday, and I'm like, I could use that last night, and I bet I get it again tomorrow.
Just call us all individually tomorrow. Keep us
Everybody, you know?
Everybody in the village.
Exactly.
And other business. So there were some circumstances that were brought up by the Farmington High School band program, where they were more or less needing some assistance, retaining some salaries and not salaries, but some volunteers. And Mr. Johnson's always a good advocate to play with. He'll tell you straight. So you'll always tell me straight on things.
But what? Yeah.
About things like that. So
I haven't experienced that.
So, they were needing assistance with volunteers. As most of you do or don't know, the current, or say the band director was suspended for an incident, and then he later then resigned. So that left the marching band without an instructor. The only way they were going to continue the band program for the year was if the two volunteers stayed on. After talking with the school district, it looks like they are making way to take care of those instructors or those volunteers themselves. So I don't see a reason that we need to vote on this evening. But
Vote on what?
Huh?
Vote on what?
A donation to.
They wanted money to fund said volunteers.
Okay.
But the school has since reversed their, I'm hearing, reversed theirs, and they're going to.
They're going to help. They're going to subsidize. They're going to subsidize those volunteers. And Mr. Johnson brought up to me, yeah, my daughter is in band, so it does sort of look like I play favorites, but it's really for all the kids. But yeah, there could be some conception that, hey, it's the mayor's daughter. You know, I'm trying to push this towards the board. So
Better not to give the appearance, is what you're saying.
I'll make a recommendation to
go
support them at the Spoon River, whatever.
Go buy a baked potato.
Go buy the baked potato.
Funnel cake.
There you go.
You have somebody new running the menu up there, and he's very, very good with doing this stuff.
Who's that?
Becky.
Is he doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Is he changing what they have?
Huh?
Is he changing?
Oh no, they're still gonna have baked potatoes, but he's just had some new ideas about making menu items. Huh?
Are they doing the chili?
Well, go out there and find out and spend your money there.
I can't. I have a band performance.
Chili, baked potatoes with some barbecue. I think that he's preparing. He's very, very good at doing barbecue. The usual stuff. He just kind of had different options going with it. And, no, Matt does a good job. He does a lot of the. I think that's the Rotary that's had food up there that he's done a lot of the street food for. He did one of the Kansas City events. He did food for too 1 year out there. He had a tent with stuff barbecue out of it. No, so I'm sure it'll be very good.
Yeah. And I guess I'll backtrack a little bit on the donation for the school. I'll probably bring this up next year. Not just my daughter would have been graduated, but this is for all the kids in the band program, music. The marching band last year, their budget that they got from the school was $800. That doesn't pay for a field show. A field show itself, which is music and the choreography, is normally in excess of $1,000 a year. So the boosters help pay for that. But that is part of their academic thing, and I think the school needs to pay for that. Their equipment is atrocious. I'm going to the next school board meeting also to voice an opinion as far as budgetary, which probably won't get me very far, but I just wanted to make a note. So
sounds like they do a pretty good job fundraising then already. Yes and no. I mean, I know a lot of those things outside of the actual class itself, it does require fundraising.
Right now, the band and chorus are going through Fannie Mae candy sales.
Do you know the comparison to the money they give?
I don't know what their comparison is. They did a flash sale of popcorn this spring, and it was a straight 50-50 split. And I think they made $3,500 in less than 2 weeks. That has been the most profitable. It didn't cost them a dime to do it. Everything was shipped right to the people who ordered it. They did it right online. And it was shipped right to the people. They didn't have to get people to collect the stuff, pass it out. Kids didn't have to go out and pass it out. It was just sent right to them. So that was by far been the best fundraiser they've ever had.
Is it treated the same way as like baseball, basketball, football?
What's that?
I mean, as far as the category of what it's in. I mean, I know band is a class, but it's also extracurricular.
Yeah, they have.
So what's the budget for baseball? You know what I mean?
I don't know, but I know football, it's massive.
Well, I know this last year. In the last year, they got a big blow up to put at the end zone. It says farmers on it and everything.
But you know for sure the schools. That's my point.
Well, they have a boosters.
They do
but-
fundraisers as
The
well.
athletic boosters are extremely strong.
But they get the fields and the workout. I mean, the band gets a room. They get to go out and use.
And they use the field, right? That's
What would
that's where they march.
That or the parking lot. It just depends on where the instructor has them practice at.
That's tough.
Probably a discussion for the school board, not for.
Well, the reason we were talking about it was because I honestly have no problem supporting our school if we have to. If they're in a
Maybe somebody called Mrs. B.
tough place.
Who?
Mrs. B?
Mrs. B.
Okay.
Maybe she raises bees.
Sister Reeves? I don't know.
I doubt it's the first letter of her last name. I'm going she raises bees. She's an apiary.
I think she's on that.
Mrs. B, we see you joined the meeting. Do you have input? Mrs. B?
It's Miss B.
Miss B?
Not married. That's probably why she didn't.
I think she meant to go to a Zoom meeting.
Is that a screensaver? It's dark out, ain't it?
Since
It's definitely not a live
we got
show.
no response, we're going to put you back in the waiting room.
No,
So-
there's nothing left. in
Okay,
here.
next item is alcohol server age discussion.
So I was reading through the code, and one of the things that came up is, I guess most states, probably almost half the states, and Abby, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but most of them have the alcohol drink or alcohol server age is 18, and I think the state of Illinois is that way as well. And since we picked up a template for our code, our current alcohol serving age for the village of Hannah City is 18. And Abby, you confirmed that for me, correct?
I think that's right. I'd have to look back to double check, but I think that sounds right.
And that's not necessarily, I mean, we haven't had any issues or anything as a result of it. I guess I brought it up because if that's something that we don't want to have, or if people, I know it's been hard for people to find folks to get people to do jobs. If a business starts having people under the age of 21 serving alcohol, is that a problem for us as a board if somebody complains?
I'm assuming they do now.
Well, they can't bartend. The only thing they can do is waitress. They can't pour the drink.
No, I don't think so.
You can't bartend under 21 state law.
Abby,
Yeah.
you sent me, I think they can bartend and serve alcohol.
I'm talking about state.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Hold on.
21 in the state of Illinois.
You have to be 21
You can serve it.
because in the state of Illinois, you have to be
just can't make
21 to take the class.
So that might be true, but our code says 18.
Yes, but either way, the cops aren't going to look at your.
But it says serve. It doesn't say bartender.
I mean, the only force is the state. You know, they're going to
Yeah.
write you a ticket anyway. But so you might as well join forces with them.
Well, we can update it when. What is this? What do you got, Abby?
Yeah, it says 18 for server and bartender in your code.
In our code, what is the state law?
Look it up on lawyer.
1 second, I'm gonna.
Google.
So, like I said, I don't think there's anything that we need to do right now. It just seemed odd to me when I read it, And if we want to change it, we're going to be doing the code review anyway. So when we do the code review, we can just make that change.
Well, if the state separates
What's your code for tobacco?
waitress and bartender, we probably can't supersede. You probably can't loosen the state regulations and allow 18-year-olds to bartend in your town.
Let's see what she says.
You know,
Well, the state, if the Illinois Liquor Commission walks in, they don't care
You
what
can't,
you
though. I
say.
mean, it wouldn't apply.
They don't call the local village and see what their code is. They just write you the ticket.
Yeah, exactly. Because you got a state alcohol, you got a state liquor license that you have to have, and you're violating that liquor license.
It's 21.
So
the waitressing, though, I think you can.
yeah,
You
sure.
still can't pour it. They have to pour it for you and put it on a tray.
Yeah, like Eric said, they go to the bar, they get it on their tray, they bring it to the table and give it to you.
What's the girls do?
My quick search is 18 or older for bartenders.
In the state of Illinois.
Yes.
That was right.
This is not true. That's it.
It's a bunch of different
I promise you, it's not. I can take the class every year. I mean, it's the state of Illinois
Can you
requirement.
can you send me whatever says that? Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
You can't even buy cigarettes till you're 21 now. You can't do anything till you're
I don't have a problem with people under 21 bringing drinks to tables.
21. No,
Yeah,
waitressing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't
Yeah.
have a problem with that.
I'll know if they get any down before they get to the table.
Does anybody know Bonnie Breckenridge?
No.
That was the Mrs. B. The
She
number
like to ski.
Mrs. BB.
or Ms. B. Okay. I think what I'm going to do then is I think what I hear is bartending, we want it to be 21. Serving is 18, 19 is okay. When we redo the code.
Yeah, leave it at 18. I don't care if the.
Okay. You'll have a chance to vote on it again, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Doesn't bother me.
She must be our regular Google, not Google. She can get on our lawyer Google. Yeah.
Also want to put a thank you out there to the Henna City Park District for the Henna City Bash that they did. I guess they had a pretty good turnout of people.
It was nice.
I was not able to make it. I was out of town.
I didn't have to leave home.
Huh?
I didn't have to leave
I
home.
say, you're across the street from you.
I parked at Jeff's.
Yeah, the big difference being, I talked to a couple of park board members, was they pushed it back into September, got away from the really hot temperatures because the problems that was had people get their food, just leaves. It was 95 degrees out.
Right.
But the crowd stayed around. We went up for the concert later on, and the crowd hung around later into the night. They did have a good crowd. I mean, I think what they did this year was the right combination of just enough stuff to do, not too much stuff to do, no carnival rides, the time of year. Everything seemed to work better than any. I think this is the combination that's got some staying power, it seemed like.
Yeah. And that I know they were profitable, that they made money as a fundraiser too. So.
Yeah.
I was there pretty much all day from about 11 till 11 at night, and yeah, there was a steady flow of people the entire time. It was a really good turnout.
Yeah, we saw you on the incident report, Ryan.
Yeah, I was, I think, 3 or 4 of those actually.
So it took 3 or 4 people to subdue you.
I have a quick note about the alcohol server age again. So basically, your local ordinance would apply. So the state basically says, local jurisdiction applies in this situation. But, that does require, not a minor, basically. So if you wanted to do both 18, you can do both 18. If you want to do 18 and 21, you could do that. But mostly it's up to you.
We have a bar owner in here who's telling us that we're wrong, but I'm going to have him send us the training or whatever that he goes through that shows that, because I was shocked as well when we looked into that.
Yeah.
I know the ILCC their rule is 21, guaranteed.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the ILCC's website right now.
They will take your license.
But I can send the link to Brian too, but that's my opinion on the matter.
Regardless, is we want 21 bartenders and 18 servers, so it's kind of a moot point.
You'll be 21 to gamble too.
Yeah.
Bars.
I know, that doesn't seem like a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I wouldn't have a problem if
you only have one place serving. Really?
What do you mean?
little gills in a warehouse. You're really only serving.
No. Oh, you mean restaurants?
Serving. The rest are bartenders.
Yeah.
That place has 100 waitresses, and I don't know, maybe 2 of them are over 18.
I do know the.
I have a. Is your wherever you bartender? Where is that located?
Here in Peoria County.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the Peoria County ordinance applies, which is why it's 21 and 18.
I mean, all my training, state training, every newsletter, everything is 21. But
Like I said, we're gonna. I think the consensus of our board is to make it 21 and 18 anyway. So we got to get the.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just curious now.
weird. I mean, I've never ever been to a bar and the bartender was not 21 or over, and I've never ever.
If that is true, that is exciting. It opens up 1,000 more potential workers.
Because that's Bassett training, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, nothing else coming to the board. Our next meeting is October 17th, 2023. Everybody's going to be here.
You telling us or asking us?
We're telling you. We're telling you.
What day is it?
Tuesday.
Yeah, are you serious?
20. What'd you say? 24.
Tony bit.
On Sunday.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Abby, Danny, Ryan, thanks so much. See ya.
Bye. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Is anybody accurate